How would that work? I guess
Lion face, tiger face.
Lumser, I'm bored. What plaything do you have for me today?
Some news out of the SK system, ma'am. Specifically, the United States court system, ma'am. And it's in regards to the Activision Blizzard. I wouldn't say the Activision, but the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. But
Mm.
to kind of, well, to kind of fill folks in, I've been following this for a couple of months since I've been following this since the whole deal started to take place. And folks know that am I a Xbox fanboy? Yes, I fucking am. And yes, both, let me say this. Is PlayStation a bunch of scumbags? Yes, they
Yes,
are.
they're all
Is
scumbags.
Microsoft yeah, they both do the same goddamn shit. And
Well, before you go any further, because you mentioned Activision, and before they kind of became their own independent thing, before they got bought out with Microsoft and Blizzard, everything else, Activision actually bought out LJN. So anytime I hear Activision, I just immediately cringe because Activision is pretty much akin to the modern LJN. Laughing, joking, numbnuts.
but either way, I've been following this during this whole deal. Uh, PlayStation was clutching their pearl, saying they're going to create a monopoly and all that fun shit. But one thing's to block the deal. Despite the deal being accepted pretty much everywhere, for the exception of here in the States and the UK, both sections are having issues right now. But here in the States, they like, well, you're going to have a monopoly over all these gaming streaming services. You mean like what EA has, what PlayStation now has too? Might not be on the level of Game Pass, but your Gearbox, or I think there's another company coming up with their own version similar to EA as well. There's no monopoly right now. And
Well, you saw
even
the
if you go,
gauntlet that EA threw the other day, right? Where EA was like, "Hey, here, I think it's their most latest version of one of the sporting games. I can't remember which one because I don't play sports games. Go figure. But their big advertisement for this new game is it's cross-platform. Period. You got it on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. We don't care. You
and
can
but
play it.
here's the thing. You have a lot of diehard PlayStation fanboys and fangirls out there. They don't realize if you're a Game Pass member, you have access to EA, the EA service, whatever games that they have on their service. You have that access. You don't have to be a subscriber. It comes with your Game Pass. And if you're a person like myself that has a Series S, Game Pass is the perfect thing to have along with it. You're saving $15. I mean, you're saving like $45. You don't have to pay $60, $70 for a brand new game if it comes out on Game Pass. But today, but what the FTC decided to do, let's hold this up and say to kind of block this whole deal here in the States, let's file a lawsuit. And it's been announced today that a verdict has been reached in regards to FTC Microsoft trial. And the judge has stated, let me pull up his quote. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history. I'll admit that. The judge, I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I'm going to probably butcher it, said in the ruling, it deserves scrutiny. That scrutiny has paid off. Microsoft has committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for 10 years on priority, I mean, probably on the same level with Xbox. It made an agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Switch. and it entered several agreements for the first time, bringing Activision's content to several cloud gaming services. This court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending resolution of the FTC administration action. For the reasons explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it will prevail on its claim this particular vertical merger in this specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion preliminary injunction is therefore denied. It's not just pretty much the kind of. I'm sure you've seen the modern Django Unchained.
Mhm.
To kind of for the folks at home, watch Django Unchained. It's a very good movie, but there's a line in that movie that one of the characters states is that we're not just going to buy this. We're not just we're not just going to buy this recipe. We're going to go there and buy the whole damn lot. Everything else is just a bonus.
Yeah.
Basically, what Microsoft is gunning for with the Activision Blizzard deal is the Candy Crush, the mobile games. That's what they're gunning for. That's where the big money is. Just having the Call of Duty and the Blizzard stuff is just a bonus.
Right.
But
see,
yes,
there's some things that I've seen kind of shady with Microsoft lately. You know how big I'm into Fallout, at least Fallout 4. Love the game. But with all the next gen systems, except for PlayStation, got a massive update to Fallout 4 recently, to bring it up graphically to the newer systems, but also allowing new Creation Club content, other stuff that would have came along with improvements even for the older versions. But believe it or not, that's Microsoft exclusive. If you have it on PlayStation, you're not getting that. And at some point, it almost feels like a breach of contract with Bethesda for joining Microsoft.
And I could say on this side, PlayStation's done the same thing.
Yeah.
PlayStation's done the same thing. Because with they own the company, they own Bungie.
Oh yeah.
And therefore Bungie has put out strictly their main game over the past, I don't know, 15, 20 years has been Destiny. And there are raids and content you could only find and get on PlayStation. You cannot get it on Xbox. You can't get it on any PC. You have to get it on PlayStation. Same thing with when you buy the open game Marvel Avengers game. You can't play as Spider-Man. The last time I checked, on any other platform other than PlayStation.
But that's if you want to play that game at all.
Right. Not to mention, it's come out that PlayStation, through various sources, that PlayStation has approached companies such as 2K, Gearbox, and other AAA games in the past that they said, we will give you, let's say, $50 million, $60 million, that if for you to say no to be a Xbox game of the month. Because like PlayStation has the game of the month. Like if you're a member of PlayStation Plus, you get a free game, like 1 or 2 games a month.
You get about 3 or 4.
Xbox has
level you're at.
Yeah, right. And Xbox has the same thing. You get 2 games, or if not 3 games a month. And a lot of folks, and myself included, keep wondering, why is Xbox getting all these crappy, shitty games, or these low-end quality games? Well, I'm not saying the low quality, but why are we getting like games that might be $10-15 instead of games that are maybe $20-30? Why aren't we getting games like Borderlands or stuff like that? Granted, I'm using Borderlands, but it's a good example. Borderlands, either the Handsome Jack collection or when it was a standalone, was, I'll say this, the Dragon's Keep was a standalone. In essence, it was a promo. It was made a standalone as a promo for Wonderlands.
Yeah.
It was a free game of the month on PlayStation. Borderlands was a free game of the month on PlayStation several times. Now it comes out that PlayStation is pretty much giving these AAA game developers maybe tens, if not millions upon millions of dollars for these games a month with the exclusive. Yeah, if Microsoft comes over to you and asks you for a game of the month and makes you an offer, yeah, you're not going to do that for 10, 15, 20 years, period. And that, with Xbox doing that, PlayStation doing it, not to mention the whole, they own Square Enix. They've done that with the Bit Remix. And they're saying, no, they just offered us when we approached Xbox, they wanted to do like where everybody else might be 5 to 8%. They told us 10%, for an example. Meanwhile, in reality, probably at PlayStation said, you're not doing that, period. And by the way, so you feel a little less guilt of turning Microsoft down in regards to that. Here's an extra $50 million or whatever to spread them out. Say it's a bonus.
So basically what we're saying is everything that you know and love winds up being scummy anyway.
Either way, and it looks like this deal will eventually go through. Yeah, there's on the UK side, there is a few details that Microsoft has to and Blizzard have to hammer out in regards to things, but overall, it looks like it's eventually going to go through by the end of the year.
But it's been stalled for the time being, so at least
it's still considered stall.
At least it's a slight win, so yay. But yes, everything you know and love will betray you and is scummy. Sorry, that's life. I'll touch on that later. Anyways, great place to put promo music, blah blah blah.